desert, testing the 450L, pretty much 450LX, depends what you modify, but just trying to get some more information on a bunch of different things. Engine hangers, flywheel weight, suspension, certain modifications to do the chassis, lots of things, tires even. So we'll see if we can get through all of the information, but the biggest thing is flywheel and engine hangers. The Works Chassis Labs is the company we're working with, and we're hoping to make some big headway with the chassis and soften some of that initial harshness that some of you guys might feel. So check it out. Forward rotating mass, and it spins 3 times faster than your clutch basket. So that extra 7 ounces is rotating inside your motor and making the crankshaft go up and down. So when you're in like first gear and you don't have your hand on the throttle, the thing will just go putt, 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 putt all around. And that was one of the biggest issues, was when you got into something technical on the 450L, that it would cough and stall, and this could potentially be the answer. So can't wait to ride it. So I just rode the Steahly flywheel weight, 7 ounce, and it definitely makes a difference on the 450L and the X. I'm actually able to kind of ride around here with my hand off the throttle. It's kind of like my 250X, which is, the thing's just automatic. I can actually climb little hills with just by using the clutch and no throttle, which is a symptom that the 450L definitely doesn't have. So this bike has a camshaft in it, a modified one, but I would say, and it's got a vortex ignition, but I would say for sure the Steahly flywheel weight is a must-have for your Honda 450L or X. Hey guys, here's a little follow-up on our test day. I didn't get to kind of really finish overall what I was talking about initially, but we'll start with the Works Chassis Labs engine hangers and front motor mounts. The engine hangers, this is the full soft we decided to go with and what we're super happy with. They're made of aluminum, and then the titanium, also soft. There's many different options with them. They'll set you up when you call them, but the biggest characteristic of the motorcycle, I went from the medium to the full soft, and what it did through like straight driving through like say a bumpy area or a wash, it took pretty much like 25% of the bump absorption just directly out of the frame, and made the shock feel softer, but it still had the same hold up. Now that was the chassis softness, so I really suggest these. They are pricey, but it's worth it. It's just like a suspension setup, so to say, and it is a kit. So the front motor mounts actually, the best way for me to describe it is it almost made the bike feel like it had a hinge in the middle of the frame. So the front end was more predictable, more confidence inspiring. You could turn on drier dirt, and rather than like having the bike kind of knife or push through like say a dry corner. So big improvement on the engine hangers, Works Chassis Labs. And then second, I talked briefly about AHM suspension. I've been working with AHM a bunch about getting these bikes dialed. If you've brought in your bike there, obviously you know that The bike's a big improvement. It has a terrible topping out feel on the fork. We've got that pretty dialed. AHM offers coatings for the outer fork tubes, and then obviously, or say fork legs. You can see here, this is like a Kashima-like anodize, and then, but it's not Kashima, just so you know. It's bitchin' colors. We've got these on our race forks. There's also a DLC bottom that AHM offers. They also offer a 18 mil shock shaft conversion, which creates a bunch of hold up and great stability in the frame. And then lastly, you talked about, I briefly talked about the STI tires. The STI tires have been tested and developed over the past like year and a half, 2 years down in Mexico, proven by many race teams. My general rule is 200 miles on a tire. That's wide open speeds. And what you want is, you don't want the tire to chunk and actually tear the knob completely off. And these tires wear really well. They do break down in that 200, 300 mile range. Most average guys could easily put 350 miles on these tires. We choose to change a rear in the 200, 240 mile range. No tire I've ever raced with has really exceeded that without having other issues. So I can totally tell you that drivability and traction of the STI is fully capable of anybody's wants or needs. Plus price point is great. It's a DOT approved tire, so you can ride it in the desert, you can put it on your 450L, you can go ride it on the street. I think for people using mooses, you should use a 120, 100, 18, and then you can go down after that. And then the same with the front. I always start with bigger tires. Say if I'm pre-running, my race setup, we use the 110, 100, 18 and the 90, 90 front. Now that's for Baja. If I'm pre-running, I'll use the 120 and the 90, 100 front. And then if I'm riding moto, I do the 110, 100 and the 80, 100 front. So that's the answers for all you guys on the STI tires. The front end has great traction with the STI tire. I think that you lose some front end traction with the 90, 100 because it is kind of a bigger balloony style tire. So to say, it has a rounder pattern, so it doesn't cut through some of the dirt as well. But you have more cushion, so going through some of the rocks, it's a lot better. So we use mostly nitro mousses, and I always make sure I fill the tire as much as possible because it will add bump improvement. And then as the mousse breaks down inside the tire, because it is foam and it will break down in time, you can put a smaller tire with that same mousse, and you can make a mousse last 2,000 plus miles. And so they have a great product. Make sure you always use nitro mousse lube. I tell people that all the time. But yeah, hopefully you guys learned some things, and keep motoing.